How we doing today? You guys doing all right?
Not as good as you, I guess, right?
Hey, it's always a beautiful day. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to come to, I guess, our signing day in December. A little ceremony here, but you know, obviously an uneventful day. Signed 16 players that we plan on signing today. Expect to have one more tomorrow, based on our knowledge, and feel really good about that. But no surprises. Got a class with a lot of variety. We addressed really all of our needs as far as recruiting at this point, and I think we still got a little bit of work to do. We got 8 guys on offense that we've signed. Got 8 on defense. When you look at just the different positions, when you talk O-line, D-line, big skill as far as running backs and linebackers, and talk about the skill, which is receivers, DBs. We got really 5 power, so we got 5 guys up front. Got 6 big skill guys and 5 skill guys, so a pretty good balance in where and what we needed. Again, one of the most amazing things, and I think the most we've ever had, was 3 mid-year guys. But we've got 7 mid-year signees, so we'll have 7 guys that you guys will be able to interview during spring ball and even probably in the first week of classes if DJ can get that set up. But 5 mid-year guys: Aiden Hedingham, Solomon DeShields, Israel or Izzy, Abanikanda, AJ Roberts, Buddy Mack, Lucas Kroll, and Daniel Moraga. So those are the mid-year guys that we'll have immediately, which I think anytime you can bring those guys in mid-year and have a chance to get around our guys, our offense, our defense, and special teams for Coach Powell, it just gives those guys an extra advantage, not only to make an impact on the field as young players, but it also gives them a chance to get acquainted with the academic rigors of the University of Pittsburgh without having a full 12-game regular season on top of your shoulders. So we're excited about that. Again, of those 16, got really kids from 10 different states, which is amazing how far we've spread to find this class, and really 7 from our backyard. When I talk backyard, those bordering states. Obviously, it starts with the state of Pennsylvania, which is the most important, and especially Western Pennsylvania. But you got Ohio, New Jersey, the Maryland, D.C., New York areas are places that are awful important to us. So we want to recruit our backyard hard. We got 7 there. PA, obviously, Dayon Hayes. Ohio, Branson Taylor and Bengali Kamara. New York, already talked about Izzy, Bandakanda, and A.J. Roberts. New York, Solomon DeShields, and from Maryland, Michael Statham. So those are our backyard guys. Excited about them. And then the other guys we got 4 guys from Florida, which we've hit in Florida, really hard with Aiden Hedingham, Javante Royal, Sam Williams, and Emmanuel JoJo Belgrave. Got 2 from Georgia, Jalen Barton and Hunter Sellers. California, Daniel Moraga again, and then Kansas, Lucas Kroll, and then 1 South Carolina player in Buddy Mack. Okay, again, 13 of these 16 have been really summer visits for us. And when you look at that summer visits, the summer visits have been outstanding for us. I think it's been an incredible rule for really everybody in the country to get this December signing. I think without the summer visits, it'd be hard to have a signing period in December. So, but 13 of them have been committed since July. But again, I thank those guys for their commitment and trust in us. Again, 11 team captains in this group. 4 of the 16 signees were able to attend summer camp this summer. Really 5 of them we saw in camps total when you think about some of the other camps we went to, but 4, which is really lower than normal. And that kind of tells you where recruiting is going. And Chris, I know you're always interested in the recruiting trends, but these juniors to be aren't camping anymore. We have what we call Rising Star Camp, which is we're trying to get all those young guys in there because that's when they're camping, but kids are no longer really, it seems, camping. So again, those 4 guys came to camp and got offers. We saw another guy down at the Georgia camp and got an offer from that one, which is 2 years in a row we've gotten somebody out of there. So I think that's significant. 1 signee won their state championship this fall. Javante Royal from down in Florida, St. Thomas, and then again 1 Pittsburgh City League champion in Dayon Hayes, which first time in a long time for Westinghouse High School. So just a couple notes and comments here, but it's obviously our 3rd December signing, which again I think it gets better every year. I want to thank. There's a ton of thank yous, and I started today. Not very often during the signee period do you have practice in the morning, but with our bowl schedule, we happen to have practice this morning as well. So I'll start off thanking, probably the most important players are the players that hosted these individuals during these weekends. And our kids got a lot on their plate with schoolwork, whether it's study hall, writing papers, studying. We know that's not easy. They got the football part of it, which obviously takes up quite a bit of their time, whether it's voluntary or mandatory. But our kids, really take time on a Friday night, all day Saturday, with these guys. And as I told our kids today, we can get them on campus as coaches. That's our job. Then the next job is our players. So I thank them personally, which I don't know if I've ever been able to do on the signing day. So it's fun to be able to do that. I want to thank all the high school coaches and administrators that we've, knocked on their doors, said hello to them, all the guidance counselors. And I obviously can't thank every coach individually. There's a couple that I'll point to, but all the work that they've done to help us through this process, giving us all the information we need on these prospects as far as their athletic ability and the character, which we're obviously very interested in. I want to thank the entire class and their families. There's a lot of work that goes into it. I don't know if everybody realizes, the time spent on the road in these kids' homes every week. Again, with the 2-week periods, all we had is really, I think I was out 10 days, but we went running for 10 days. I mean, it's a haul. I mean, we're all over the place, and our coaches are working their tails off. So I want to thank our class again for their commitment. Obviously, our coaching staff and their families that have to put up with our schedules and where we are. And hey, see a dad, I'd come home on a Sunday from talking to recruits on campus, go home for about 2 hours, and then boom, I'm off to a home visit on a Sunday night, which we don't like to do, but we had to utilize even Sunday nights to get that done. Obviously, Mike Faribault in academics, Penny Samaya in life skills, which I think are critical every year. The work again, another thing that's really not on their, I guess their list of things that are the major priority in their lives. But they're helping us recruit these kids. Did a great job. Heather Lake obviously spends time with our recruits as well, talking to them on weekends. And then Mark Harding and the admission staff and the entire faculty, usually on especially in the summer, on a Saturday morning, we'd have a breakfast for them. A lot of times at the porch, and every academic advisor would come sit down and have breakfast with them and talk about their academic field. So, so I thank them. So I'll start off, excuse me, with the offense 2020 class. Again, those 8 individuals. Start off with running back Israel, goes by Izzy Abandakanda from Abraham Lincoln High School in Brooklyn, New York. Again, a mid-year guy, as I said, was a guy who came to camp, runs a 10,500 meter. I think again, it's going to add immediate speed to our backfield, breakaway speed, like he did in high school. Again, very explosive, and again was named, probably the most prestigious thing, a New York Gatorade Player of the Year. There's not many of those throughout the United States, so I think that's worth mentioning. 2 receivers at this point: Jalen Barton, Westside High School down in Georgia, down in the Macon area. Again, guys have made plays all year long. Jalen, again, every Friday night, right after we tuck our players into bed, you'd get a text from him and with his highlights. He's already got his highlights. So you talk about a guy that's passionate about the game, runs great routes, athletic, going to make a lot of plays for the Panthers here in the future. And then Aiden Headingham, Deerfield Beach High School, same high school as Deslin Alexandria, so we've had some great success down there. In that high school, again, another mid-year guy. Again, Aiden can be a two-way player. He goes up and gets the ball. I think the first 3 games of the season he played on defense. He'll hit you, be a great safety, but also can be receiver. He goes up and gets the football. A quick story about his recruiting. When he came on the visit, I sat next to him on the first Friday night. And again, you almost felt sorry for, as I sat next to Dad Clinton, because, his dad raised him all by himself. So it's kind of, you heard that story, that you're like, wow, all by yourself, no mom in the home. He's the mom, he's the dad. And a lot of times you see it's the mom raising a kid. But then I go on the home visit, there's about 48 people on the home visit. I was like, he's got an army down here, but he made me feel bad on that visit. But he's got a ton of support at home, and we're fired up about him coming to Pitt. Tight ends, as you know, we lose 2 senior tight ends. We've got 2 mid-year guys that we're excited about. Lucas Kroll from the University of Florida. They got a pretty good tight end down there. He was looking for a place that he could be the guy. He's got obviously 1 year eligibility left, but Lucas is a big, tall guy. When he walks in, in the door, the first time you meet him, you're gonna go, whoa. He's a great-looking kid. One of the interesting things about him is, from the time I, talked to him on his trip, this guy's a football guy. He loves the game. He's very, very intelligent. He's on the leadership council down at the University of Florida, so he's one of their leaders. So I think we added another, older leader to this football team. And again, the most impressive thing, because he understands the game, is he talked a lot about special teams. Now, he wants to catch a lot of footballs, but he talked about special teams and wanting to be on every special team. So that's something that, a lot of young kids, especially freshmen coming in, don't talk about that. And again, all of our freshmen, we hope those other 15 or 14 of them, know how important the special teams are. Daniel Morega from the Ventura College in California, a guy that Tim Salem did a lot of work on, went out and got a lot of evaluation on him, besides the videotape of just watching him run routes in practice and videotaping and being able to bring that back to our staff. Very athletic kid, runs great routes, and again, really raised by his older brother Joe the entire time. Who's, when I say older brother, he might be 23 years old. So again, just great people, and we've done a lot of homework on him. Offensive line wise, we got two. The first one, from Elyria Catholic, Branson Taylor. Again, played 2 years of football, was a basketball guy. Went and watched him play basketball, at least in a practice, and just a phenomenal big athlete. This guy's gonna walk through the door, and he looks like they're supposed to, and just a super kid. And again, Branson's a guy that, probably the hardest coach he's got up in Elyria is his mother. I videoed a little bit of, the tape just watching him move around on the court at a practice. I said it to his mother, Heather, I was, at the school. And, she texted me back and was kind of mad that he missed the layup. But just, I was like, I don't care if he scores any points. I just like how the way he moves on the court. But his mother's after him, like she's all looking about the points. And I think he put up last night or 2 nights ago, 22 points and 15 rebounds. So, I mean, he's an explosive big man. He's got to be about 325 pounds. So we're happy to have him. Michael Statham from St. Francis Academy. Won a lot of football games there. I think they lost one. I think they're, top 5 in the country football programs. So we got a great kid there. I think when he first got here, he was about 365 pounds. I think he's down in the 330s now, but just a mountain of a man. He's my first commit since I've been here 5 seasons. I committed in Heinz Field, in my office over at Heinz Field, the locker room. So I'll never forget him for that. But he's again, like all these guys, I mean, again, he stayed committed late in the game when a lot of people were knocking at his door trying to get in on him. So we're happy to have Michael. I've got one athlete, and again, you can throw him in the receiver category. I think he could play a lot of places on defense. Another mid-year, Solomon DeShields from Millville High School down in South Jersey. Again, like I said, he can play both ways. Going to start off on offense, I believe, if he wants to, but just a guy that every time you see him, he's got shoulders that look like this. I don't know what he's going to grow into, but he's athletic, he's fast. He ran a 10.800 meter. Which is a fast time for a big kid. So he's just not some skinny little receiver. He's a monster receiver. So happy about him. The 2020 defensive class, we've got added 3 defensive linemen, and again, 3 of them, really all 3 of them defensive ends. Dayon Hayes from Westinghouse High School, again the #1 target in PA, and you never get as many guys from PA as you want, but when you look at #1 target, that's the guy we went after early. Been on it for a while. Just an incredible young man. Last night, man, just there's only one other guy that's ever texted me good night as much as he did. It was William Golston, who plays for the Buccaneers. But every night it's a good morning, or every night it's a good night, and a good morning in the morning. But a guy that FaceTimes all the time. Just an incredible young man that we're looking forward to having him on this football team. The next guy from Miami Southridge, Florida. Emmanuel Belgrave, goes by JoJo. Again, another guy, kind of, I don't know, maybe it's a defensive end, another guy that's FaceTiming you every week. Just love this kid as well. Again, you just build a lot of relationships with guys when you're on the phone, and he's a great communicator. And again, I've got to give a lot of credit to his high school defense coordinator, at least in his junior year, Philip Simpson. Coach Simpson really has done a great job with this kid of getting him where he needs to be and getting to the University of Pittsburgh. So I got to thank him, and he's been the main guy. And again, we'll get into later things on him, but just did a tremendous job. Sam Williams, again from Calvary Christian high school down in Florida. Again, a really athletic guy, speed rush guy off the edge. And again, had an incredible year for his high school this year. Guy came on an unofficial visit with his mother, and then obviously came on an official visit after that. Guy we just kind of fell in love with. So we're excited about him. Linebackers got two. First one, Bengali Kamara, Akron East High School in Ohio. Again, came to camp, very athletic. You put on some of his high school tape, you go, that guy can come right now and play for you. He's physical, he's athletic, he's a great blitzer, and you guys know we like to blitz a little bit, so we're excited about having him. When we first recruited, we thought maybe he's just, he's so athletic. Next guy, linebacker, A.J. Roberts, Tottenville High School in Staten Island, New York. Again, another mid-year guy that we'll have him here. Again, another very athletic guy that can do it all. And we're excited about his opportunity here at Pitt early. He's going to get that early shot to come find out. Get another guy athletically that can play all three positions. And an interesting tidbit on him is his parents are not in Liberia right now, and they signed the papers from Liberia to get him here. So we didn't know how that was going to go with the email, and so he's a super kid that will be here come early January. Quarterbacks got two. Again, two different styles, I think. First one, Hunter Sellers from Woodward Academy in Georgia. Great to get a Georgia player up here, but very athletic. Can play to the field, can play to the boundary. The most impressive thing about him is just an intelligent guy. When you sit and talk with him, you feel like you're talking to a third-year player in college. Again, I think he can play field and boundary corner. So we're excited about where he is and what he can do for this football team. And then the other one is Javante Royal. Again, a 6'3", athletic guy, elite size for his position, at corner. So when you face some of those big wideouts, having a matchup like him on some of them. The guy that played a lot of defense as a junior, played a lot of offense as a senior for his high school. So I think he can do a lot of different things. You could call him a big athlete because I think, again, he could, if we needed help on offense, that guy could go over there and immediately help us there as well. Again, won a state championship, 14-0 at St. Thomas Aquinas. So, and then the last one is a safety position. So we took one safety, and when I say we took two corners, I mean those corners, can also play safety, especially the field safety position. But when you look at Buddy, a kid from Burns, South Carolina, Burns High School, which is one of the best high schools in the state of South Carolina. He's a physical guy. Again, mid-year guy, so he'll be here in January. We watched him at Georgia's camp last summer, so he's one of the guys we pulled out of there a year ago, kind of like Nate Temple a year ago. We think he can be a heck of a strong safety. Takes great angles on the ball, will hit you. I just think for that boundary safety, he's a perfect fit there, so we're excited to have him as well. So enough of me talking. You probably got some questions on all these guys, so if we have questions.
With Deion Hayes, when you tweeted out his signing this morning, you put in the tweet "hometown hero."
Yeah.
How much was that a part of his recruitment, both in what you guys tried to say to him and what you think he was kind of interested in?
Well, I think he's going to be a hometown hero, and he's special. And you can watch the tape on Deion, and maybe it doesn't do justice. I went and saw him live on Friday night. I think I only got 2 Friday nights out, and that's a guy I wanted to obviously see. And that guy's special. He really is. And seeing him live compared to watching videotape, I always tell you I love those live contacts and evaluations. And he's special. And again, I think all of our Pittsburgh guys are going to be hometown heroes. They're playing for their city. They're playing for the University of Pittsburgh. He's a special athlete, a special person. So.
He works out with your trainer, right?
I believe so. I don't ever get to watch any of those, but I think the whole city of Pittsburgh works out with Dwayne Brown. So Dwayne's outstanding. But I believe I get mixed up with who works out. But Deion's again, he's here. When he's allowed to be. I mean, the guy, after school, stop over here and sit in the defense staff room and watch tape with us. He's just a very personable kid, and it might have been last summer. I don't think he's been working out with him lately, obviously during the season, but he works out a lot.
You, your 7 mid-year guys. I mean, obviously it's a personal choice, but do you, in any way, encourage that with these kids?
You know what? No, I don't. We may have talked about this last year with Jared Wayne. Jared Wayne was a mid-year guy in mid-October. I could show you text messages. He's like, "Coach, I hope you're not mad. you know, but I think I'm gonna stay down here in Clearwater, Florida. I was like, you know, coming from Canada, you know, I probably like the sun and the palm trees down there. But, you know, I didn't discourage him. I didn't say, hey, you need to come. You told me you were coming. You know, these are 7 guys that were ready academically, mature enough to come in right now. And so I don't encourage it or discourage it. I think they have to really want to do that. And, you know, I think that's their personal preference. And again, we don't push it at all. I'm glad they're here because, you know, when you leave, you know, spring ball becomes real thin when you lose 16 or 20 seniors, depending on, you know, that whole senior class, how it breaks down as far as scholarships and walk-ons. But when you lose those numbers, to be able to fill it in with half of them, I think it's a major, major benefit, not only for them, but for us.
Is there a big benefit for Kenny? He was an early guy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when you look at him playing, you know, playing at the end of his first year here at Pitt, you know, I don't know if he could have done that if he wasn't mid-year.
And when you guys got his verbal, what was going through your mind at that point? Because I know you had interest in A&M, Iowa State.
You know, we're obviously, you know, we're excited, and you know, there's been a lot going on since his commitment, but obviously extremely excited, like we are for all of you. Anytime you get a commitment, it's exciting for every one of them. But you know, that number 1 target in the state of Pennsylvania, you said we want to get that guy. You know, not only because of his athletic ability, but his character, you know, his ability to communicate. And there's just so many great things about Dayon that he liked.
Did your head spinning at all, you know, midway through June when I left with these guys? Was committed in like 7 days span.
Yeah, I think my head was spinning more the year before because you didn't expect it, and you don't see that very often. Give a tribute to, you know, our staff, our coaching staff, and really the university for opening up their arms and doing what we did in the summer as far as just taking time during, you know, the month of June when, you know, a lot of people were on vacation and out of here, but the whole university opened their arms to our kids and helped get those guys, those 11 commitments. It's not 1 guy, it's not 2 guys. It takes a, you know, entire, you know, university to help get a guy. So I don't know if it was spinning the year before. Last year maybe just a little, maybe just spun one time instead of multiple. But you know, it was, you know, fun Sunday, that's for sure.
You said you expect 1 more tomorrow, that would make 17. How many more are you expecting between now and
You know, we'll find out. You know, once January comes, you know, we'll evaluate our needs and kind of go from there. But maybe 2 or 3 more. I don't know. You know, the nice thing is once signing day's over, you kind of, you know, and after the bowl's over, you kind of take your seniors off the board. You kind of figure out where you are, what you're doing, and you know, what are our needs? What do we need to compete next year? You know, at the highest level possible.
That was the quarterback in the defense class.
You know what? I don't think, you know, that the quarterback position this year was all that strong. To be honest with you, obviously we'd like to take a quarterback in every class. You know, I think that's you don't want to take 2 quarterbacks in every class. You know, we feel really good with our young quarterbacks. You know, obviously we got Kenny for another year, but we'd like to have 1 in every class. But I didn't want to just take 1 to take 1. It's such a special position. You hate to take 1 and then you find out you can't play like you want him to. So we were really, really particular. We said if we're going to take 1, we're going to take a great one. If you skip a year, it kind of gives some spread as far as, you know, having a, you know, redshirt freshman quarterback and then another guy, you know, I guess a sophomore quarterback and then bringing in another guy. So we'll continue to evaluate that as we go on. But again, we were not desperate for 1, but we always like 1. So
I think that's always been the rule of thumb, right? You got to get a quarterback every year. But has the equation changed?
Yes.
With how quarterbacks transfer
Yes,
these days?
it really has. That's why you want to get the right guy. It's not about getting a guy. And I've never been like that in recruiting. I mean, you have your needs and you say you want to take, you know, 3 defensive ends or, you know, 2 receivers. You like guys that can play multiple positions and help you a bunch of different ways. But, you know, you'd like to get 1, but, you know, certainly with the way those guys transfer, you know, that plays a part. You want to make sure you get the right guy. And again, it just wasn't a great quarterback year. I mean, from the very beginning, we were kind of like, where are they? What do we like? So I think that plays into that.
Why are Robert guys from Liberia?
You know, they're from Liberia and, you know, they're on vacation, they're doing what they do, maybe some work there. You know, I didn't ask, you know, really why, but I'm sure, you know, being from there, that's probably why.
You know, you'll expect Lucas Kroll to contribute this season, but some of those other, the incoming freshman skill guys who are going to be here in the spring, Bonconda or Barden, I mean, do you think those guys have physical tools to help you as soon as this fall?
No question about it. And again, the spring is really going to help them. You know, our 4th quarter workout being with Dave Andrews in strength for the entire spring and summer. Don't forget, we usually get these guys, for summer school too. They're gonna be here for 2 summer schools. Physically, they're gonna develop. We're gonna take a before picture when they get here in January, and then, we'll take one at the end of spring to see what these guys have done. But every one of these freshmen, if they're ready to go, we're gonna play them. Whether it's 4 games or 12, 13 games, 14 games, every one of those guys will have an opportunity to prove what they have this spring. And, so we'll find out. To say, hey, this guy I know is gonna do it. It's hard to do that, I think, because as soon as you say that, that's the guy that's not. I mean, you can't say that one's gonna, one's not gonna. All 7 of those guys we expect to come in here and compete for playing time right away. That's why they're coming too. If you ask them, they're coming so they can play early.
So what's your favorite story from the recruiting trail this year?
Recruiting, I don't know again. Favorite, again, there's so many great experiences you have. And again, as a head football coach, I get one time to go. So really every every time you go into a home, there's something special about the family, the kid that you love.
You have a lot of dinners with these?
I had a lot of dinners. Speaking of dinners, maybe one of the things that stands out to me, usually, as a coach, you go in, you try to have a snack before you go in because you don't want to, sit there and scarf the food down. But probably one of the funny stories, and you guys always get a kick out of this guy, Turbo Tim Salem. Probably one of the funnier stories is, I'm kind of calm. I mean, a couple oxtails and some salmon, some Jamaican rice at Izzy's house. They made an incredible meal, which I had a ton of incredible meals throughout the month of December. But my man Salem loved those oxtails, and he was going after it. I mean, he had stuff all over his face. That's probably one of the funniest things I saw. He obviously didn't eat enough prior to going to that home visit, so he was having fun eating. I think he had his father was laughing. We were sitting on the couch after dinner. I think Tim was about ready to fall asleep. I think he had a food buzz, so that might be the funniest story. Salem getting after that oxtail and salmon.
He came anyway, huh?
And he came anyway. Well, they love to feed you, so great people, great meal.
Any additional questions? Coach, thank you.
All right.
Thank you all.